Hello, and welcome back to my channel. So a couple of weeks ago on Instagram, I asked what was your favorite purchase of the year off of my recommendation? Like what's something that I recommended that you went and bought and it became your favorite product of 2022. So these products weren't necessarily released in 2022. They were just your favorites of the year based off of my recommendations. Some of these were not surprises at all, and some of them were kind of surprising. Not that I didn't love every product, but it's interesting to me to see what resonates with you guys. I learned a lot about what you like and what you don't like going into 2023. And yeah, let's go ahead and get into the full face of your favorite products of 2022. All right, product number one, and this is let me make sure. Yeah, this is the only overlap between my best of 2022, my personal top favorite products of 2022 and this video, but I think that just speaks to the popularity of this and how much people truly loved it. This is the e.l.f. Halo Glow Liquid Filter, and this was the #1 response when I asked what is the #1 best product that you tried off of my recommendation this year. This got the most responses. And if you saw my video of best of 2022, you know that I happen to agree. It's just a beautiful filter. That's what it is. Like we all have filters on our Instagram. This just gives you a real life filtered looking skin. I will caution if you have super duper dry skin or super oily skin because it will highlight either one. But if you have combo, normal, somewhat dry skin and you're strategic with where you place this, it really is an incredible product. It just makes your skin look very dewy and fresh and can be worn all on its own. But like I said, this is the only product that made it into both videos, so I'm not gonna go on about this because I did in my previous video. So let's move on to foundation. And this was kind of surprising to me, I guess because I recommend so many different base products that this was the one that resonated the most. Not because I don't love it, but because I really had no idea what the #1 pick was gonna be, but it was this one. It's the Purito BB Cream. And this is one of my most recommended products, especially on Instagram stories when I get questions about my favorite foundation alternatives and foundations that have SPF. This has UVA, UVB protection, it's fragrance free, and it just has a beautiful dewy finish. It reminds me a lot of the Charlotte Tilbury Beautiful Skin Foundation, and the ingredients actually line up pretty well. It's one of those products that you can really sheer out for a natural look, or you can build up to look like a full coverage foundation. I have never had an issue with flashback with this, so I can wear this as an evening out foundation, and I do sometimes. It just gives this really beautiful, healthy finish. I would say it's a natural to dewy finish, so I definitely personally have to set this down, especially if you have drier skin, more mature skin. This is a really, really flattering foundation. And if you layer it on top of something like that e.l.f. Halo Glow Liquid Filter, it's really gonna bring out that youthful glow. It actually says on here, healthy looking glow, and that's exactly how I would describe this. And you can just see that that gave my skin really nice coverage. I used hardly any, and I just took a tiny bit more, and I'm gonna layer over where I feel like I need a little bit more coverage. It's just a really fresh, beautiful, beautiful product. I'm like falling back in love with it right now as I'm applying it. All right, concealer. This one was not as big of a surprise for me because it is one of my most talked about concealers, but it's an older one. And so many good concealers were released this year. I was expecting maybe like the Honest one or the CoverGirl one, but it was actually this one, the Neutrogena concealer. This is their Creamy Radiant Concealer. The closest dupe I've personally found for the NARS Creamy Concealer. This one has antioxidants, peptides, and it's sort of skincare and makeup in one. And it's exactly what it sounds like, radiant creamy concealer. It just really melts into your skin. I don't know if you can see how that just brightened up everything, but just looks like it's part of my skin. It doesn't look like it's sitting on top of my skin. This is another perfect for everyday type of concealer. You can build this up, but if you use just a little bit like I just did, it's gonna be more like a solid medium coverage. And it pairs really well with this foundation because they're both just that radiant, natural, healthy skin look. Ooh, we're getting a delivery. It's package season. I know everyone says this is the best time of year, but it really truly is. I've just been really enjoying this time with family. So thank you so much for understanding when I said in my last video that I'm gonna be posting only once a week right now. I just feel this need, especially this time of year, to spend more time with my family and prioritize mental health and just taking care of myself and the ones close to me. So thank you again for understanding. All right, next up for blush. This is an older product. It was recently repackaged, but it's still the same product. But it's my all-time favorite cream blush ever of all time. So if you've been following me for a while, you probably know what it is. It's one of my most recommended products on Instagram. In almost every Q&A, somehow like my favorite cream blush comes up or my favorite natural makeup products come up. So outside of the e.l.f. Halo Glow, this was the second most mentioned product of the happiest purchase you've made this year. And it is the Honest Beauty Cream Blush in the shade Rose Pink. Just an incredibly beautiful, wearable shade. Perfect for every day. Super flattering. Even if you're not like a big blush person, this is an extremely wearable color. You can see if I just put a little bit, even if you're not a major blush person, it just looks like a natural flush on your cheek. But if you are a blush person, you can continue to build this up to make it look a little bit more pronounced. It has a dewy formula, but it does kind of set down on your skin, so it's not gonna feel really sticky all day. If you wanna really make it last and you don't necessarily want that dewy finish, setting it with a powder blush will definitely take things to the next level. I love that this look is turning out to be a really fresh and natural look. I feel like all of the answers here are kind of leaning that way, that the makeup that you guys enjoyed the most this year is some of the most natural makeup I have in my collection. All right, next up for powder. I wonder if any of these are a surprise to you guys as well. Like when I say powder, what powder comes to mind that people probably said? Because I had in my head what I thought people would say, and then getting the responses, all of them made sense. I was like, yeah, I love that. But they weren't necessarily what I thought the answers were gonna be. So for powder, it's this No. 7 Loose Setting Powder. This is a super finely milled setting powder that has hyaluronic acid. So another one of my most recommended products when I get questions about powders that don't look super powdery. This is one of my most common responses to that question. And sometimes when I recommend products, you know, either through stories or DMs or comments, and you know, I put them out in the universe and then I just don't know where they go. You know, do people try them? Do they enjoy them? And so I love seeing products that I highly recommend come back on these year-end kind of surveys to see what products really did resonate with you guys, because it helps me to know what you enjoy the most so that I can kind of find other products and recommend other products similar to that. And what I've seen in the responses, and you guys can tell me if this is accurate, but what I've seen in the responses is that a lot of these are really natural, everyday makeup products and not so much that like full glam type of look. So that's at least the impression that I've gotten through the results. All right, next up for brows, it was the e.l.f. Wow Brow. This and the NYX Thick It Stick It are the two best brow products at the drugstore in my opinion. This one's almost gone, so I'm gonna see what I can get out of this for this video. I know a lot of people prefer the e.l.f. Wow Brow to the NYX Thick It Stick It if you like more of a natural brow look, because the NYX Thick It Stick It definitely does apply more product, number one. Number two, the brush on the NYX Thick It Stick It is quite large, so it can get a little bit messy sometimes, whereas this one has that really tiny sort of benefit gimme brow type of spoolie on it. So it really comes down to preference. I will say with e.l.f. Wow Brow, I like this on my more natural days, but it doesn't hold my brows in place quite as well as NYX Thick It Stick It. I'll need to kind of reapply or touch up more with this formula than with the NYX Thick It Stick It. But again, I think that goes back to how natural this looks and just different preferences. But you guys know this is one of my ride or dies, so I'm glad that you guys love it too. Okay, and then for eyeshadow, out of all of the eyeshadows I've ever recommended, this was the number one response, the e.l.f. No Budge Cream Eyeshadow. I love this because, again, it shows me that you guys like the simple, natural makeup, because this is the easiest eyeshadow look there ever was. I have the shade Sand Dune, and I just like to take a fluffy brush and dip it in there, kind of take a little bit off on the back of my hand, and then just go ahead and apply. This color is very cool toned, so it's almost like a contour. So it's like a no makeup look, because you're sort of just contouring out your eye socket. And then I just take it along my lower lash line as well. And again, this just kind of contours, this color just kind of contours out the eye to make it look more pronounced, give a tiny bit of a smoky effect, a really good just beginner eyeshadow color. And this sets down and lasts all day. Right, and then for mascara, the number one response was the Age Perfect Waterproof Lash Magnifying Mascara. If you missed my tubing mascara video, I did a showdown of all of the different tubing mascaras on the market, high-end drugstore that I could find. I did wear tests. I showed how they washed off, etc. And this one and the Heemish mascara, the one I talked about in my last video, were the two winners. If you're not familiar with the tubing mascara, definitely go watch that video to kind of get a full breakdown. And this one was the #1 response. So I'm glad that all of that work paid off and that you guys love this one as much as I do. What I'm really excited about is Milani just launched a tubing mascara. Their Anti-Gravity is my favorite mascara, and they just released the Milani highly rated tubing mascara. So this is one of the first tubing mascaras at the drugstore that's actually called itself a tubing mascara. It's been this like hunt to find tubing mascaras because they're not labeled. You just kind of have to try them and look for keywords on the packaging like easily removes with water. This one is called a waterproof mascara, but it's not waterproof because if you cry, this stuff's coming off. But I will definitely keep you guys posted on that. I've already ordered it. All right, and then for lips, I'm just gonna put on a little bit of this Milani All Natural Lip Liner. This wasn't one of the responses, but just before I put this lip product on. All right, another one that I was not expecting, but I'm so glad that you loved it, is the Naturium Phyto-Glow Lip Balm in the shade Petal. I have the old version. I think now they're coming with plastic packaging right here. I have the metal one, but the formula hasn't changed at all. And I love this stuff and I love this color. It's a beautiful hydrating lip balm that feels like you're wearing a lip mask all day, but you can throw this in your purse and reapply it like a gloss. All right, and then last but not least, this was another, probably the #3 response behind the e.l.f. Halo Glow and the Honest Cream Blush, and it's the Milani Make It Last Setting Spray. If you are looking for an Urban Decay All-Nighter dupe, or you just are looking for a way to make your makeup last through anything, this is like hairspray for your face, and it makes your makeup stay in place. It makes it make it last. This is the best setting spray I've ever tried, including Urban Decay, including Charlotte Tilbury. This one beats them all in my experience. And that is it. I love that this sort of turned into a really natural makeup tutorial and a really natural look that's gonna last all day because of the products that we used. Thank you so much for trusting me enough to try some of my recommendations. I love when I hear about times that my recommendations have worked out for you because that is literally the point of doing this. But thank you guys so much for watching this video, and I will see you in my next one.